So my name is Daniel Callaghan. I am CEO and co-founder of MBA Company. Website's mbaco.com. Essentially what we are is an online marketplace where companies can engage highly skilled consultants for short-term projects. Think eBay for management consultants or contingent workers. So MBA Company, or at least the concept, was created in 2009. At the time I was at business school, and what we saw in the midst of this global recession was that there was a huge breadth of talent and expertise that was going underutilized. There simply weren't the traditional jobs in management consultancy, research or investment banking that there were in the boom years. At the same time, companies all over the world were making people redundant. They were working with limited budgets, yet still had this high level of need for ad hoc, short-term, high-quality output. What we thought was actually there was a disconnect in both the traditional management consultancy world and also the ability to access highly skilled talent for short-term projects. And if there was a way that we could bring these two parties together in an automated, efficient and low-cost fashion that had the potential to scale globally, we might have an idea. As such, we've created a business plan there and we're selected as one of the best business plans in Europe, led the UK, and very much of a shoestring created this business that joined these two parties and enabled the companies to access from skilled talent at a very low cost, or a much more cost-effective manner than traditionally available, as well as provide the global talent pool with a means of identifying and approaching companies for these short-term work that also enabled them to continue whatever other aspects of doing it. Our business model is very simple. MBA Company runs much like any other marketplace or brokerage platform. We simply take a commission on the successful completion of each project through the platform. So therefore, if a company were to charge, or if a consultant were to charge a company £100 an hour, the client would in the end receive a bill for £110 to £120 an hour. That £10 to £20 is what drives MBA Company. Unlike other marketplaces, our service is free to post projects, there's no listing fee, and each project is paid based on the completion of a number of milestones that ensure that the quality of work is exactly as the client expected. So MBA Company operates in a field where essentially we are trying to disrupt both the staffing and contingent labour market as well as the traditional management consultancy world. Now, if we start with the traditional management consultancy world, what we see are a complete inaccessibility or inaffordability or for smaller SMEs, high growth companies, or to use them in an appropriate fashion. A traditional large first tier management consultancy will take the person's salary and typically charge a 6 times day rate or 6 times markup on that person and then charge them out to the client. It might vary between 4 to 6 times, but that's about an average. Also, they'll only be interested in projects that have the potential to become £500,000 in duration, £500,000 in budget, or can allow the consultancy to mushroom out into an organisation and really become an integral part of that doesn't need for years. Both of those make it impossible for the SME or smaller market. They have limited budget constraints and therefore couldn't afford that 6 times markup, nor do the scope of the project works typically require such long processes. Furthermore, actually, the primary area of work that we often see, companies have great people in them, but often because they're resourced in headcount and resourced in budget, the strategy director just has a couple of great ideas that he needs further exploration from. And essentially what MBA Company provides is the same intellectual capital or human capital as all of those leading management consultancies and makes them accessible on an hour-by-hour basis so that the company can get exactly what it wants, when it wants, for the duration that it needs. And that could be all over the world. Now the management consultancy market itself is a $100 billion plus market. By our calculation, the short-term ad hoc project work market is $30 billion globally, which gives us an addressable, sizable addressable income. The UK interim market alone is a £2 billion per year market. So there's a huge potential for disruption. And if you think that actually the traditional management consultancy or interim market suffers from long lead times, overpricing, and actually often a misrepresentation of delivery, where you'll engage with one team, yet it'll be a whole series of juniors that will work on the project. We provide a much greater level of transparency to the solution. Within the short-term contingent labour market, or the online world of work, actually again we believe that we are shown to be disruptive, or certainly possess a new unique proposition in what we can provide. There are lots of low-cost, low-quality labour markets that work very well for creative services. If you want a logo designed or something, it's really, it's a crowded marketplace that isn't by any means mature, but it's certainly highly competitive. What MBA Company again does is take all of the distribution and advantages of those labour markets and apply the high level of intellectual capital traditionally found in management consultancies, and bring all of those advantages right to the forefront for the clients. The challenges that we faced globally, I think are similar to those faced by any businesses as they move into new markets. First, you have to build the supply, and in order for us, our product is run based as a marketplace. It requires both supply and demand in order to create that level of liquidity. We first created the supply by looking at who were the right people to partner with. Where for us, given the fact that everyone had to have graduated from a world-leading business school, identified that there were several key clusters of business schools which would all immediately provide us with a global alumni that we can use to build it up. Secondly, it was again on the supply side. And what we have tried to do there is build it up on more of a market-by-market basis and see where actually either through PR diffusion or through attacking clusters and working with areas that have a stronger ecosystem to let the message pass through organically, that we can actually build that demand. Now currently, for example, last year we did projects in 50 countries, 40 industries that have millions and millions of pounds worth of work go through the platform each year, and members joining up from every corner of the world. So MBA Company is looking at expanding into new markets all the time. As I mentioned, we are extremely global already, consultants in 132 markets, clients in 50, across 40 different industries. For us, the value proposition is simple. MBA Company's platform enables you to get great people in a much more cost-effective, faster, and delivery-focused, results-orientated fashion than possible. And that's a value proposition that translates all over the world. The companies are always looking for new ways to win the war on talent or to get the answers to their questions. At the moment, because we have this wide breadth of talent, we can service and do try and service each market. Certainly whether it's a project in Kazakhstan or helping a large security firm sell, say, naval boats in Africa, we always know that we can provide the expertise. However, the part of growing fast and part of growing sustainably is, and certainly when you're in a startup with limited resources, is about knowing which markets to go after first and where in those markets to go after first. So whilst we're not trying to, we can't be all things to all people. So at the moment our focus is still very much on the markets where the proposition is most readily accepted. So North America, which is why we wanted to be part of the NYC Venture Fellow Program. And actually in China, where there is a huge demand for Western talent on an ad hoc basis, because essentially they will take the learnings very quickly, utilize them, and then look to adopt them as their own, which is great for both parties looking to develop.